Alright, what's up, y'all? My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. Today is the 3rd of July, 2026. This is a video under our main side, one of the 4 sides to us as In the Image Clothing Company, where our slogan is allowing the body to work. I'm going to get right into this. The title of this video is the visual example of In the Image Clothing Company's rotated seam modification. So I've got my scissors here. And I've got this shirt. Now this shirt has seams in it that are rotating, okay? Allowing the body to work. In the Image Clothing Company, what does it mean? Well, it means things like this. The seam's only going one direction and it's pinned down and stitched. I'm gonna put this shirt on for the sake of the video's title, the visual example, okay? Because this is the before and after. In the Image Clothing Company's rotated seam modification in a top, okay? So, clothing, the literal wording of anything physically placed on our bodies. Well, In the Image Clothing Company, our 5-word company name, we're designed in the image of God. So In the Image Clothing Company, glasses, hats, pants, tops, shoes, socks, undergarments, anything at all, whatever it could possibly be, jewelry, placed onto the human being. If it's not centered, the body's not centered. If it's not fitting correct, things like joints of material of clothing, meshing with joints of body parts, oh my heavens, right? The bones joints mesh with the clothing's joints, and then also being made in all the ways we can from 100% natural materials. If these things aren't happening, the body can be very damaged. Chronic patterning builds up in the body over years and years of wearing clothing, imbalanced, oversized clothing, zippers, pockets, buttons, seams that are rotating. Here you go. Anything at all, right? Shoelaces or drawstrings, just ropes we could tie one side over the other and twist the entire body. Anything on or around the body you could tie in a knot. So I like to do this, the visual example series, where we show things visually that you can see. We do so much under the gift, as I call it, of video here under In the Image Clothing Company and all 4 sides. But we just can't be getting into chronic patterning. Gravity having the same effect on our bodies that it has on our clothing, and, you know, damage throughout the body when the body's trying to work around the only thing placed onto it. Now, this shirt has even rotated seams, so they're rotating backward at the sleeve cuffs and at the shirt tail. But, you know, we just talked about Earth's vertical gravity pull. It meshes with our bodies. And there truly is only one way the human being could ever possibly work. It's just measurable mathematical degrees of hinges, levers, and rotations, just determined by the shape and length of our own individual bones within this universal human design. I just bought this shirt used. It's got rotated seams in it. So I'll show you the visual example of the before and after of In the Image Clothing Company's rotated seam modification. As you can see, gravity just isn't pulling these seams straight down like it pulls my arms straight down. The pendulum of the hand from the other end of the shoulder, right? There truly is only one way the human body could ever possibly physically, mechanically operate. Or we just say it simpler than that, more simple, right? There's only one way the human body could ever work. Muscles just pull. Opposing muscles, though, right, stabilize us in a neutral position. And this is standing, but it's also not only standing left or right in the center line of our bodies at the sternum, the spine, the trachea, the nose, the jaw stabilizing the entire body with musculature to the crown of the head, to the upper ribs, and to the edges of our shoulders, going through the collars of our tops, right? We're a clothing company, In the Image Clothing Company. So yeah, left and right, we have to stay just even with Earth's vertical gravity pull that comes down and meshes with the horizontal surface to the planet Earth. This 90-degree right perpendicular angle, there truly is only one way the human body could ever possibly work. It's mathematics, but front to back as well. You know, we either lean forward or we lean backward, but gravity just keeps us neutral and our bodies have opposing musculature that keeps us neutral. Right, so we discussed the anatomy of the human body in depth here under In the Image Clothing Company. We're only a clothing company, really, to get to the functionality of the human being, to do what our slogan is here under our main side, one of our fourths, and allow the body to work, right? Allowing the body to work is our slogan here under In the Image Clothing Company's main side. But you notice my arms hang straight down with gravity, but the shirt seams go down and back, because these seams are rotating backward, okay? In this specific top, it's just a used top I bought from the Deseret Industries thrift store today. But you notice the seams just want to hang back. My arms hang straight down, the seams come down and go back. Let me take my hat off so I can get my shirt off here. Let me take this shirt back off, because this is another video under the visual example series. Okay, under In the Image Clothing Company's main side. So, yikes. Let's do In the Image Clothing Company's rotated seam modification. We follow the seam down to where it meets at the shirt tail, right at the very bottom of the shirt. And where it comes down, we just snip it where it's rotating just one direction. It needs to go both ways. So follow the seam down to the shirt tail, and we just snip it right where it meets the shirt tail. Just cutting enough to where there's now motion in both directions, but without cutting too much of the stitch, because we don't want clothing coming unstitched, but also we don't want our bodies being altered with, from the only way they could ever possibly work on Earth's vertical gravity pull either. And so that's a bigger deal. Our bodies being able to physically work because they are our physical bodies, and clothing is just the only thing physically placed onto them, the literal wording, just like how God clothes the fields with grass. Right, now I'm not going to do the sleeve cuffs, it's the same thing, but just for the sake of making this video quick and efficient, a lot of it's for the heat, not just for me, although it is somewhere around 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's pretty hot, and I'm also in long pants, but really for this device, doing what I can to not let it overheat so I can get this video to save, so it actually will be able to be permanently documented. As of the 3rd of July, 2026, under In the Image Clothing Company's main side. And so this is the visual example series. This is the point, is you can see it. You can see what I'm talking about actually being worn, or we talk about things within the body and the way the body works, and I show the actual physical mechanics of the body working with my own body as the founder and leader for life of In the Image Clothing Company, so that we have some examples of what we're talking about that you can actually see right through the video. But it is hot. It is hot. It's not as hot as St. George, Utah. We're in Utah County right now, but In the Image Clothing Company, right? The state of Utah, the United States of America, specifically St. George, Utah is where we're based. But here's the thing. There is actually a collar seam in this top as well. So In the Image Clothing Company's dreaded collar seam modification has been done. I did that right before I walked over here to start this video. But now, as gravity just hangs this shirt down, and keep in mind, this is just cotton now, 100% plant material cotton, just a lot of little weaves of strands of fabric woven together. So over some time, like the first time you wear it, basically maybe the second time you wear it, I'll put my hat back on, mostly just because my hair is messed up, right? The little hair that I have left, that's actually silly because that's true. This will wear in, if you will, and be able to hang even more vertical. But just, if you can tell, I haven't been able to see it. I can't really see it in the monitor here well enough to tell right now. But, what you can see and how much you can tell that it's just able to move better. Well, there you go. That's it. We hip hinge right at our hips here. Okay. We bend forward at the hips. And that's right where the shirt tail stops. And if it's just not having motion in both directions, then our hips can't really move properly. And having the seams rotate backward like that, it's actually taking the pelvis anterior anyway, lower in the front and higher in the rear, which is not healthy on the body. It's like constantly bending your hips more than just vertical with the pelvis neutral and Earth's vertical gravity pull. So I'm going to stand right here to shade this device because I don't know if it already got too hot or not, and I just don't want it to overheat if I can have it not, because the point of documenting these is documenting them, and I haven't been able to save certain videos because the heat corrupts the video when the device gets overheated. So anyway, there you go. There's the visual example, what you can see of it. Regardless, this is a shirt that I now have that I can wear, and it's modified for me to be able to wear personally. But here you go. Side seams. Ideally, we don't have them right against our rib cage. You know, we've got videos under In the Image Clothing Company's, our main site here, talking about what that can do to breathing. The body expands and contracts. The rib cage in 360 degrees, just all the way around every breath we take, unless it's restricted by anything literally clothing it. That's not meshing with it. The only way it works, okay, which is what side seams can do directly against the rib cage. But there you go. In the Image Clothing Company's rotated seam modification, there's your visual example. Okay, one of them. And sometimes we have rotated seams where one side's going forward and one side's going back, and it's actually rotating the whole body, like around the center of the body, if you will. We do live in a right-handed world, 85%, maybe 90%, give or take, if human beings are right-handed. So rotations are usually to the right in clothing, which is damaging. There's two sides to the body. Feet evenly opposing the center line of the human being, gripping arches inward to keep us vertical. Anyway, just is what it is, bro. Clothing, you don't have to care about fashion. You don't have to care to even want to try to care about clothing, but it's just the literal wording of anything physically placed on your body. You have a physical body on a physical earth designed by God. Your body just grows by itself. It only can work one way. There's your visual example of some rotated seams at a shirt tail being modified with what we title In the Image Clothing Company's rotated seam modification. So check out the other three sides if you'd like to of In the Image Clothing Company, In the Image Clothing Company Music, In the Image Clothing Company Podcast, and In the Image Clothing Company Poodles. We're on episode 209 of In the Image Clothing Company Podcast as of today's date, the 3rd of July, 2026. So thank you for this. Cut that stitch if you got a rotated seam, because otherwise your body will be physically struggling just to stand vertically on Earth's vertical gravity pull. Thank you.